devastating news, I would say, but I don't think it was unexpected given the time period of the season. Caitlin Clark announced on her social media that she will miss the rest of the. She captioned it in short, in part, I had hoped to share a better update, but I will not be returning to play this season. I spent hours in the gym every day with a singular goal of getting back out there. Disappointed isn't a big enough word to describe how I am feeling. She was limited to 13 games.
This is chaos. Candace Parker just dropped the kind of truth the WNBA prayed would never see daylight. Caitlin Clark being shelved for the entire season isn't merely Indiana's nightmare. It's a league-wide disaster. And the quiet murmurs are turning into an unmistakable chorus. What if Clark decides she's had enough and walks away from the WNBA entirely? That's not hysteria. That's the doomsday scenario. The league fooled itself into thinking it had time to patch its flaws, but the clock just hit zero. Be honest, if Clark walked away tomorrow, what would be left? Spoiler alert, a wreck the league can't hide behind PR spin. Barely 2 years into her pro career, Clark now sits sidelined with relentless groin and leg issues. Even in her carefully crafted statements, the frustration bleeds through. Fans can read between the lines. This isn't just about missing games. This is about the crushing weight she's carried, an environment that failed her, and a league that refused to shield the one player keeping the whole thing afloat.
She was limited to 13 games this season, and she hasn't played since July 15th when she suffered a right groin injury in the final minute of the Fever's win versus the Sun right before the All-Star.
That's our girl. That's our girl. And I feel like no matter what happened, you have to protect you and you have to protect your career.
Enter Candace Parker, a legend who's lived the grind and knows exactly what it costs to push past the breaking point. She didn't dress it up, didn't dodge the truth. Parker came right out and said it. Clark made the right choice by shutting it down. She owned her own missteps, admitting that late in her career she ignored the red flags, tried to gut it out, and paid dearly for it. Her message to Clark couldn't be clearer. Don't let the league pressure you into sacrificing your future. Don't repeat my mistake. Protect your body above all else. That's not just advice. That's hard-earned wisdom from someone who's been there, said with the authority only a champion can carry.
No reason to force anything. And I feel like her just kind of having that approach of doing what's best for her is all we can ask for, because we'd rather Caitlin sit out and then come back next season and we're ready to roll and we're ready to rock. And so we've just been supporting her and she's been supporting us. She's always there. We're getting to watch film and she's in there walking through saying, hey, and we're like, get out, go do what you need to do. But I mean, she's still the same. And I feel like our approach, because we've been missing her for so long, is just to come in and compete. And we have a good rhythm, I think, with everyone that's came in. And so just keeping that as our main.
But here's the real crisis. This isn't just about Caitlin Clark's health. It's about the WNBA's survival dangling by a thread. Every number that mattered, attendance, ratings, merchandise, exploded because of her. Clark didn't just lift Indiana. She dragged the entire league into relevance. And now the one player holding everything together is stuck on the sidelines while executives scramble to spin the wreckage. The terrifying question no one wants to face? What if Clark says, I'm done? What if she decides her body and her future matter more than breaking herself for a league that wouldn't even protect her on the court? That fallout wouldn't just sting. It would be nuclear. Let's be honest. Fans didn't suddenly wake up caring about the WNBA as a brand. They cared about Clark. They bought tickets for her. They wore her jersey. They tuned in for her highlights. Take her away and the arenas go dark, back to half-empty gyms and forgotten live streams. And worst of all, this was preventable. The league gambled by refusing to step in. Night after night turned into a brawl. Clark got hip-checked, elbowed, shoved out of the air, more hockey than basketball. Officials swallowed the whistle. Engelbert's office stayed silent. Everyone shrugged it off as physical play. Now the golden goose, the one laying all the golden eggs, is out for the season. Congratulations, WNBA. A masterclass in self-sabotage.
I had said that they were hopeful that Clark would return by the end of the regular season, but Caitlin was unable to fully reincorporate back in. Yep. She had never missed a game in her collegiate career or her first day. So this is definitely a blow, I'm sure, for the organization, but also for her. Fever went 8-5 when Clark played and 15-15 without her. You all did win the Commissioner's Cup for the first time in franchise history without her. So maybe that is also another precursor. But big picture from the outside looking in, I have been a player that has had a number of.
Parker sees the truth. Playoff basketball isn't just tough, it's unforgiving. Faster, rougher, meaner. The absolute worst time to force a star back from injury. You don't drive a Ferrari into a demolition derby, but that's exactly what the WNBA wanted. Clark hobbling through games just to squeeze a few more ratings points. That's not leadership. That's desperation. And here's the twist. Clark knows she holds all the leverage. She doesn't need the WNBA. The WNBA needs her. She could walk away tomorrow and have her pick of paths. Broadcasting, endorsements, overseas ball, even building her own empire. Meanwhile, the league has spent decades as a charity project, propped up by the NBA, waiting for its big break. That break finally came, and it wasn't from Kathy Engelbert's speeches or clever marketing. It was Clark. One player, barely into her second season, carried the WNBA further than the league office ever could. Which is why the quit the league talk doesn't sound so far-fetched. Fans are already saying it outright. If Clark's not playing, I'm not watching. That's loyalty to her, not the WNBA. And if she walks, they'll walk too.
In the time, and there is a difference in being a role player and coming in and playing a role and coming in off of an injury. There is a rhythm, but when you are Caitlin Clark and you have the ball in your hands and you are on the other team's scouting report, to come in half and not be able to be in that amount of, I would say, rhythm of the game, because the rhythm of the game changes towards the end of the year. And so when it started getting closer to the end of the regular season, I was like, it's dangerous to come back during playoff basketball because the whole flow, the physicality, all of that is different. And so I know it's difficult to kind of take time and understand the big picture, especially when you're living with tunnel vision and you've worked so hard to get to where you're at, but it's the smart thing. And I'm proud of this generation for taking the time they need, looking at the bigger picture, and making sure that they get healthy. So, Caitlin Clark, hope you feel better. You have a great off season, and
Candace Parker deserves credit for saying what everyone else tiptoed around. She wasn't just advising Caitlin Clark. She was sending a message straight to the WNBA. Respect your stars. Stop grinding them into the floor. Stop rushing them back for a quick ratings bump. Clark isn't some role player. She's the one every scouting report highlights in red. If she's not 100%, she shouldn't be anywhere near the court. Parker practically applauded her for realizing that before it was too late. But here's the real twist. This isn't only about health. It's about trust. Clark poured everything into the game. She admitted she was putting in hours of rehab daily, clawing to get back. You could hear the heartbreak in her voice. Yet when it came time for gratitude, she didn't thank the league. Not the refs. Not the leadership. She thanked her fans and her teammates, period. That silence spoke louder than words. The fans showed up for her. The league didn't. And that's why the Clark could walk away. Talk isn't just noise. She's learned the hard way the WNBA won't protect her. So why keep playing a rigged game? If she ever says she's done, the world will line up to claim her. Europe would throw tax-free contracts at her, with lighter schedules and refs who actually blow the whistle. Or she could ditch playing altogether. Step into broadcasting, endorsements, media ownership, even nil-style ventures to uplift the next generation. She could build an empire bigger than the WNBA itself. Meanwhile, the league would be left clutching regrets, watching their savior thrive without them. And make no mistake, this saga isn't happening in a vacuum. The WNBA has been here before. Big stars, bigger problems. Angel Reese made headlines, sometimes for the wrong reasons. Players complained for years about low salaries, travel nightmares, and second-rate facilities. The league always seemed stuck in that maddening almost there, but not quite space. Then Clark arrived and changed everything. Fans poured in. For a moment, the cracks disappeared. But the second Clark went down, the illusion shattered. The curtain dropped. And what stood there were the same old WNBA issues that have haunted the league for decades. That's where Parker's warning lands the hardest. She lived this. She admitted she once ignored injuries, pushed too far, and paid dearly. Now, as a retired legend, she's practically waving a red flag. Don't repeat my mistakes. The fact that her voice even needs to be raised tells you everything. The league hasn't learned a thing. And what will the WNBA likely do next? Roll out a sterile press release about player safety and supporting Caitlin's recovery. Empty words, too late to matter.